All right, let's jump right into this special effect. We're going to be doing the extreme zooming or the zooming special effect. So let's create a new composition. We'll just keep it at 1080 and we'll call this the masking comp. Okay, and that's all fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my pictures that I have that I just took outside of my building. And we have this no parking sign here, and the idea is that we're going to zoom into the no parking sign. And as you can see, just zooming in manually, it looks all pixelated and all that. So let's just get right into this special effect. So what we're going to do is we've got our sort of close-up shot of the no parking sign. We've got sort of a mid shot, and then we've got our furthest shot. So we're going to start with our mid shot and our close-up shot, and we're going to scale down the closest shot so it's in proportion to the mid shot. So we'll take that one and we'll reduce the transparency here, bring it down to approximately 50 or somewhere in there, and then we're going to start scaling it so we can match it up. Something like that. And just take your time with this. And that's fine. Okay, so that is good. So now what we need to do is scale now the second shot or the mid shot to our last shot here. So we want to scale those down. But to do that, we're going to have to parent the first shot to the second shot, so any scaling changes that we make to the second shot will be applied to the first shot as well. So we'll just parent this guy here. So you can see that the number 1 is parented. So any changes we make to number 2 will also happen to number 1. You can see that the number 1 shot is also being scaled. Okay, so let's turn off the number 1 and let's go into the number 3 shot, and we'll turn the opacity down again on this one just so we can see what we're doing, and we'll start scaling it. So we want to line it up here in a way that looks proportional. And actually that looks pretty close right there. And that's fine. Okay. And so we're done that. That looks good. So we'll turn on the other one so we have all our shots. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make our number 1 picture, or our closest shot, the controlling picture. So we'll first select all the pictures and turn off all the parenting. And then we'll select the last 2 and parent them to the first picture, and then we'll turn the opacity back up on all the pictures. Now the reason I did that, made the number 1 the controlling shot and everything's parented to number 1, is that now we can just zoom in and that will give us our animation. Okay, few problems here is that our zoom, we want it to go straight into the no parking sign. So what we'll do is we'll move the anchor point right on top of it there. And we'll actually also move the picture down so it's right in the middle. Okay? And that looks pretty good. So you can see how it zooms in and you still have the clear picture. We do have some problems though, is that you can see where the pictures are laid upon the other pictures. You can see that this square is there and there's a square here. Now the way we're going to get rid of that is with the masking tool. So we'll just zoom into the no parking sign here and we'll mask around it. So we'll just pick our masking tool and we'll just make a rough mask around this guy. And that looks fine. And what we'll do is we will feather it out. So we'll bring the max expansion in just a little bit and then add some feathering so it slightly blends into the rest of the shot. And that looks not bad. That looks fine. Okay, so let's go and mask number 2 now. So we're going to mask this picture here with our sort of pen tool selected, and we'll just make a rough mask around like that. And it doesn't have to be super stellar, it just has to be convincing. And we'll do the same thing, we'll feather out the mask and bring in the expansion just so it looks nice and clean. You can just zoom in a little bit there and then feather it just a wee bit. Okay. That looks good. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay, so let's animate this bad boy. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our controlling picture, which is our number 1 picture. We'll open up the scale. And what we're going to do is we're just going to zoom it out so we have most of the shot there. And then we will activate the stopwatch. We can see we have our keyframe there. And then let's make it 4 seconds long. So we'll go here and we're going to zoom right into the no parking sign. So we'll zoom right up into it. No parking. And we have another keyframe there. Okay. So now we've got a nice sort of zooming in. Now another thing we can do is select both keyframes. Pick that one and then hold shift and pick the other one and then right click, go keyframe assist, and what we're going to do is exponential scale, and that's going to make it a little bit more smoother in the movement. Okay, now so that's just the concept on this. You will run into some problems in that as you get closer or farther away from items, especially if you're going extreme distances, like this is only a couple feet, but if you're going, let's say, blocks, you're going to run into perspective issues. And, well, you can get creative on how to fix that. You can either actually use the liquefy tool under effect and distorting options. So it's going to be in here. Or you can just find ways to hide the imperfections. So like add a wiggle or some motion blur or something like that. Okay. So we will, let's see the full animation here. So we'll close this up like that, and then we'll just go like that, and we can see that it zooms in quite nicely. Let's deselect that mask. There we go, that's nicer. So it zooms in quite nicely and it looks nice and crisp. Okay, so that's the extreme zooming effect. You can get really creative with the ways that you do this. You can see the application of this effect in the CYPG takeoff video and the bullet time video. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I've included the actual Adobe After Effects file on the website to download if you just want to check out the logistics behind it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. My name is Mario.